Holy Hero Martyr Jacob of Hamatoura. The rock-cut Hamatoura Monastery in Kosba, Lebanon, is a Greek Orthodox monastery belonging to the Patriarch of Antioch, and it's one of the oldest in the country. The monastery is dedicated to the Dormition of the Theotokos, the Mother of God, but is more widely known as the Hamatoura Monastery, which is the name of the mountain the monastery is built in. Late in the 13th century, at the monastery of the Dormition of the Theotokos on Hamatoura, Saint Jacob began his ascetic life. Later, when the monastery was destroyed by the Mamelukes, he reestablished monasticism along the perimeter of the ruined monastery. In time, he rebuilt the monastery, regenerating and giving renewed vigor to monastic life in the area. His spiritual briskness, vivacity, and popularity among believers drew the attention of the Mamelukes, who set their minds to stop his enthusiasm and determination and forced him to convert to Islam. He adamantly refused their relentless pressures. When the Mamelukes' horrible coercive attempts failed, they dragged St. Jacob, along with a number of monks and laymen from St. George Monastery, situated atop Mount Hamatoura, to Tripoli, the capital of northern Lebanon, and handed him over to the wali, or ruler. For almost a year, he endured tremendous tortures. Nevertheless, he did not give in or renounce his faith, despite receiving both adulations and threats from the Mamelukes. Although intimidated by the uncompromising Saint Jacob and his persistence, finally, as was in their custom in punishing their enemies, on October the 13th, Saint Jacob was beheaded. In addition, the Mamelukes burned his body to ensure the church would not give him an honorable burial as a martyr, a burial befitting a saint. Not long after his death, seeing his sufferings and steadfast faith, our Lord bestowed on him everlasting crowns and graces, as today he shines as a martyr as much as he was a beacon during his earthly life. At this time, the church announced St. Jacob's holiness had added him to her list of honored martyr saints and prayed for his intercession. Our saint was almost forgotten in the course of history. This was due to severe sufferings of the church under various Muslim sultanates that both weakened Christian spiritual life and resulted in a noticeable drop in Christian literacy. Additionally, all manuscripts and information that could have been sent and translated abroad were either forgotten, lost, or destroyed. However, recorded encounters by the monastery's pilgrims upon seeing visions of St. Jacob and many others who sensed his presence affirmed and authenticated his sainthood. Glorifying the name of the Lord, St. Jacob also healed many. Recently, a clear mention of St. Jacob was discovered in a manuscript preserved at the Balaman Monastery in Geronticon, a hagiography or compilation of biographical short stories of the lives of holy saints. In a Balaman archival transcript numbered 149, it clearly indicates that the church commemorates his memory on October the 13th. The monastery of the Dormition of the Theotokos of Kasuba, Hamatoura in Lebanon, commemorated his memory for the first time on October 13th of October in 2002 in an all-night prayer vigil. A number of priests, deacons, and believers participated on that memorable day as the attendees chanted St. Jacob's divine service, prepared and edited by the monastery monks. St. Jacob has always been present with the faithful, appearing to some and blessing them, healing others. He has repeatedly been heard by monks and visitors, chanting in the church, encouraging them to go deeper in their spiritual lives. He even asked a faithful woman once to inform the monks that he will show them his grave, but they disregarded the subject. On July 3, 2008, while renewing the church floor, human bones were found buried in the chapel with a little grave containing 2 human skeletons showing marks of torture and beating. some coagulated blood, and some liquid blood on the skull. They also found a part of a 3-year-old child's skull with some of his bones and 2 other skeletons. According to modern laboratory testing conducted by Naji Sabab MD, who specializes in legal medicine, they date back 650 years. One of these last 2 skeletons shows mark of fire. He was also decapitated, and his second neck vertebra was lost. What this implies, according to the criteria of the Balaman manuscript, is that it is St. Jacob's skeleton, who was in his 50s when he was killed, his companion, who was in his 40s, and the rest of skeletons they date to 450 years ago. The monks of old considered these relics holy, since they did not bury them in common graves, but in the middle of the church, and in hastened way as a result of pressures and persecutions. Under the holy altar were found some parts of a child's skull, therefore the monks considered them martyrs. The church was reconsecrated on October the 16th, 1894, 114 years ago, because it was vandalized. After blessing the Metropolitan George of Bibulus and Boutros, the Orthodox can add to their prayers the phrase, the martyred father of Hamatoura, whose relics were found in the monastery chapel. In addition to St. Jacob, they will be commemorated on July 3rd, the date of finding their holy relics. Today, believers and pilgrims are constantly reporting his apparitions, miraculous healings, and other grace-filled deeds. All of this kindred spiritual fervor to celebrate the memory of this saint and give praise to the Lord while honoring St. Jacob of Hamatoura, who is still living among us in his monastery, performing miraculous deeds, calls, and visitations to believers.